What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Beyond Meat. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down on what just came out after hours, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Beyond Meat did go down 3.6% during the trading day. 129 the low, 146 the high. So relatively unfortunate, only because the broader market was rallying because of stimulus optimism as well as shutdown optimism. So the market was kind of booming higher. Unfortunately, Beyond Meat went the polar opposite way. Shorts, though, did take advantage, and they did return 7.63 million shares. That is net. As I've mentioned in the past, they trade back and forth, so that is net. So they kind of were somewhat worried about Beyond Meat's earnings, because even leading up to today, I mentioned that the bar is set extremely low. So a lot of the key metrics, so earnings per share and revenue, Wall Street is kind of giving them a pass, and they weren't really going to care so much about those key metrics. Rather, it's going to be the future guidance. But 28.13% of the free floats being shorted works to be 100.48 million shares overall being shorted. So still, I see a lot of people posting online saying tomorrow we're going to see a short squeeze. So still kind of crazy, the level of optimism, but nonetheless, they did put out earnings for today. And so when it came down to expectations, negative 43 cents for the earnings per share, 69.7 million for the revenue. So like I said, setting the bar very low, so kind of easy for them to beat, and lo and behold, they did beat. So the revenue did come in at 70.2, so that is considered a beat, and it came in at 41 cents per common share, and so that essentially is a double beat, as weird as that is. But like I said, I think the bar was set extremely low. A couple of other things, margins, gross margins came in at 10.3. The loss from operations, 112.3 million. This is exactly the reason why they did push their earnings back. So it looks like a 77.4 million non-cash impairment charge related to the certain company's long-lived assets. Once we do get the true earnings, then we'll be able to kind of digest it a little bit more. But like I've already stated, when it came down to kind of these numbers and the key metrics, Wall Street didn't really care too much. It's going to be the future guidance, and that is going to be tomorrow during the conference. So we'll have to wait and see how that does play out. Even when I first started covering Beyond Meat, when it started to get very hyped up, I was being very honest with you guys. I said, hey, you know what? This hype has nothing to do with the operations. I think a lot of people just took it upon themselves to start assuming that the operations were solid. But these numbers right here say completely opposite. The only thing that actually did do well somewhat, which only went up 2.4%, was international food service. That is it whatsoever. Even looking at the cash equivalents, they barely have anything. So it's kind of pennies, and given how much they're burning through, that means they will be needing a lot of money for the foreseeable future. So at the end of the day, like I said, it's going to come down to their future guidance. Wall Street, retail investors, everyone and their dog is going to be really paying attention to exactly what their turnaround plan is. If they don't have a plan, if they assume that, hey, you know what, we're going to be keeping expanding and doing whatever, the market's going to crap all over this stock. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but I think in general, the company really needs to come out and have a good turnaround plan if there's any chance that saving that Korean guy, which is kind of comical. I actually still see some people posting about, hey, I bought the dip to save that Korean guy. In my opinion, I think the Korean guy is kind of SOL a little bit. But nonetheless, though, I think that these numbers came in as expected. There was nothing really good operationally going on with Beyond Meat. And just based on a lot of these key numbers that did come out, it's kind of going to be a sticky scenario tomorrow. So in my opinion, is there going to be an opportunity to swing trade and day trade? Most definitely, yes. Is this going to be kind of a squeeze? Probably not, but it will most likely be dependent on the future guidance. So like I said, if they say, hey, you know what, we're bringing on blah, 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 Warren Buffett on part of the board, and Warren Buffett's buying something and blah, 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 someone else, then yeah, the market's going to eat that up like crazy. But it is all going to come down to what they say. Looking at the options, we had 5.4 million in calls, 1.8 in puts, and then 49% of all the options being done were bearish in nature. From a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be above $1.50 to 2. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 1. So I think that's one thing that the bears have been very consistent about, is that it's going to be sub $1. So we'll have to wait and see how it does play out tomorrow and the conference. But as far as right now, with that 125 in the after hours, it is trading between this pivot and this S1. So 119, 109, and then 93 cents is going to be support levels. 136, 152, and 162 is going to be the next strong target / resistance point. So let me know your thoughts on Beyond Meat. As I've been explained in the past, I am not here to pump you up. I'm not here to bring you down. I'm just going over the data. As difficult as it is, when it was heating up and it was kind of moving higher, then yeah, things were in euphoria. A lot of the data was very bullish, and that's exactly how it played out, right? Things went up very fast. Right now, you're having more of a realization upon like retail investors, like, what did I get myself into? So in my opinion, I don't think that there's much to it with the operations. We'll have to wait and see. So I'll kind of tune in to the earnings call tomorrow and see how that does play out. But if there isn't really anything crazy worthwhile to listen to, then regrettably, I might be stopping to kind of cover Beyond Meat as much as I have, unless there's some big updates. But I think definitely momentum is going to be hit quite hard because of this. So let me know your thoughts on Beyond Meat. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. If you are looking for some solid buy signals though on stocks, options, crypto, pop over to my Patreon. I put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. So definitely worthwhile to kind of pop over there and check that out. Even though the market's been very iffy, not just today, but kind of in general, a lot of the swing trades I've put out have been massively on point. So worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.